Hi, I used to spend at least 5 hours, if not more, to draft a single project charter. Now I get it done in 2 minutes. But here is the catch. If you don't know how to handle the missing 20%, that AI generated document is actually a liability. Today, I'm showing you the exact workflow I use to combine the AI strength and the project management expertise to build an official project charter that I'll be using for my project at work. But don't skip the video yet because I'll show you one crucial and most important section in the project charter that AI completely messed up and how I fixed that with the Triple T framework. More on that later. Hey everyone, so today I'll be going behind the scenes of my daily life as a project manager and talk about how I actually use AI on a daily basis. Now, the number one question I get is, which AI tool should I use? If you're working for a modern enterprise from a small firm to a massive IT department, the answer is simple. Use the one that is approved by your company, by your cybersecurity and IT team. In the corporate environment, the data security is everything. So you cannot just throw confidential documents into a random web tool. In our organization, we are primarily Microsoft shop. So I'm using Microsoft Copilot, which is part of the enterprise suite that we have. So the Copilot is built into all the apps that I already use. And most importantly, it is approved by our cyber team. If your company hasn't enabled AI yet, don't worry, your CIO is likely already working on it because it is now becoming the standard. And those who don't get AI onto the enterprise level, they'll be just counting their days. So it is coming if it hasn't already, but you can use the one that is approved by your company. That is the short answer to that question. So now moving on to this second part, the workflow that I use. So from SOW, that is my starting point, or a business case, any document that already has some information, that is our starting point, because project charter comes in during the initiation phase. By that time, already someone worked on the project to get the funding approved. And to get that funding approved, you already have the basic details of the project, a very high level timeline, risk, and things like that. So before I dive into the actual project charter, it is important to understand where the project charter falls, right, in the overall project lifecycle. So project charter happens at the initiation lifecycle. So that is the first stage in the project lifecycle. So what that means is, at this time, we already have an approved business case and an approved project funding. So the sponsor of the project has already decided what the project is about. We can use that information to build the executive summary that is in the project charter. We already have a approved budget, so we can use that as the project budget in the project charter. So all this information is already available, so which makes it easy for AI to start building and putting those information into the project charter. So the next thing is, if you have internal team, then obviously you have to tell AI what those team and team members are. But if you are relying on a vendor, then most of the time the vendor has the SOW, right? So when they have to give you the SOW, it already has a high level breakdown of project activities. So again, that will help to come up with a timeline, a high level timeline, because vendor has already put that in the SOW. So once you have those different pieces, you can feed that as input into the AI tool and ask it to create the project charter, referencing the business case or the SOW that you already have. All right, so that being said, now let's talk about how I create it. So normally, if I have to start a project charter in the past, I would have to start from scratch, or I'll have to use some template that is approved by the organization. Either way, it takes a couple of hours to get started, just to get the right documents, right sections and all that. I did not like the template that the organization had. There was not much force on me to use something. It is more about what is inside the charter content wise. So I decided, okay, let me use Copilot. So I attached the two SOWs that I got from two different vendors, each one doing their part in the project as well as the business case, and then simply typed in a easy prompt which said exactly like this: create a project charter based on these two documents attached. Just less than 2 minutes, it came up with a 10-page document ready. It pulled all the information, including the executive summary, the scope, timeline, everything perfectly. It saved me that initial blank page anxiety that usually eats up my entire morning. All right, now the 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rule, the manual work that need to go in, because you cannot completely rely on AI or trust AI yet. So now here is the reality check. AI gets you 80% of the way there, but the last 20%, that's when the actual project manager earns their experience and they can keep it, right? Because the AI version was missing some key elements. One was the standard formatting. So I had to manually add all the company's cover page, headers, footers, table of content, all that, right? To make it pretty, make it more organized. Because even though the AI produces the Word format, it's still raw text. It has sections, but it is not pretty yet. So that is number one thing. Number two was the RACI chart. The RACI chart, if you don't know, that is where we typically put the responsible person, the accountable person, who is consulted with, who has to be informed, right? So we are assigning roles and responsibilities at a high level during the project charter phase, right? Or the initiation phase, using project charter as the vehicle to deliver that message. So while the AI knew who was involved, I had to refine and specifically tell who is accountable, who is responsible, because AI doesn't have that much details until I feed into that, right? So instead of feeding as a prompt, I can type that directly in the document. So that's what I did. The third important one is the risk register. This is a big one. The AI just listed the risk as a block of text with comma separated items. But we know that that's not going to fly when we review the project charter with larger group, right? We need, anytime when we have a risk, we need to have proper mitigation plan. What is the score or the rank of the risk based on the likelihood of the risk happening, and if it happens, the impact of the risk. So based on the probability and impact, we assign a rank. So that basic calculation AI didn't do. It just listed the name of the risk, but it's a good starting point, and those are the missing 20%, right? So I tried prompting the Copilot to turn the risk into a table. It can do it, but honestly, by the time you write another prompt to build a complex table, it often is faster to insert the table and format it yourself inside the document. It ended up being a 50-50 split of AI speed versus my human fine-tuning, right? So what's the verdict here? So is it worth it? In total, I spent about 90 minutes to 2 hours cleaning up, making it almost from a draft to a final stage. So if you ask me, is that really worth it? I would say absolutely, because if I had to start from scratch, that charter would have taken me 4 or 5 hours easily. And when you start something from scratch, there is always that starting trouble that takes away a lot of time initially. Since the AI gave me a document which was 80% done. So then, in our mind, it's like, okay, I just have to finish just the missing piece. So, you will put in some effort because it already has most of the things that you need. So that initial documents gives you a good headway, right? And that's really key. So that's the time I spent. If I had to do it from scratch, instead of spending 5 hours, now I'm spending less than 2 hours. So it still saved 3 hours of my time, which I can spend on managing the project and looking at the strategy and plan rather than working on a manual documentation. I can't show you the confidential content inside the specific charter because it's for my work, but I can share the template that it finally came up with and finally what I fine-tuned and used it. So if you want that, I'll put the link in the description below. You can download it for your use and let me know how useful it was for you, and give it a like if you like this type of content. I'm adding a variety to different aspects of my daily project management experience and bringing on to this channel. If you like this style of teaching, definitely check out my project management masterclass at www.nextprojectsacademy.com. Again, I'll have the link in the description. So it's an in-depth dive into the actual tools, tactics, and real-world project management execution. So if you don't want another certification or another course, but want to gain the actual experience of doing things, getting your hands dirty, then you should definitely check out my course. So that being said, thanks for watching. Keep leading with command, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. So a final verdict on the project charter. I would definitely try AI tool to get me a starting point, and where AI comes in is it generalize and put it what you need, and then as an individual you bring in the expertise to make it the final product. Does that make sense? So if you have no experience or expertise, then what comes out of AI, you would think that that's 100% and you start to rely on it. But then when somebody who is experienced looks at it, they can immediately understand, oh, okay, this is missing, or this doesn't look right, how the information is presented. The information might be there partially, but how it is presented and how it is not complete, that's where AI currently lacks, and it may over time improve on that area. But since as of now it's highly text-based, at least enterprise level AIs that we use for analysis and creating documents, so that's where I would leave it at. And definitely not gonna not use AI at all, because it's definitely good for what it is capable. The speed is like there is no match. I would use AI, but I'll be also adding the human element to it to make it 100%.